What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. So today I'm going to show you how to wrap the trunk on this Tesla Model 3. Tesla Model 3 has a very complex trunk. It's not normal to have a trunk like this that has such a swoop curving in and a curve coming around this way. On top of that, it's like a hatch almost, where it's like the trunk comes all the way up to here. The piece that I've actually cut, the size of the piece that I've actually cut for this is about 42 inches, a big piece, by 60. So we've got a lot of film to stretch across this thing. The only way we're going to be able to actually get the film down without having extra slack is to stretch it across, because if we stretch it down, we're going to be adding tension to the bottom edge. We don't want to do that. Just see an imperfection here. I think it's in the paint. No, it's a small thing there. Let's get that out. So the film that I'm using today is Hexis red currant, or satin red currant. It's a very sticky film. It's going to be very hard for me to work with this, but it's also pretty pliable, which is nice. So I'm going to grab my piece since I've already cut it. I've prepped the surface using 70% isopropyl alcohol, blown away all the dust and debris using a compressor, make sure there's nothing floating around in the area, and we're going to slap the piece of vinyl down on this trunk. Trunks are some of the most difficult parts, can be some of the most difficult parts of a car wrap. What you're going to see right now is the size of this piece. It's pretty large. And the struggle that I might go through doing this alone. I'm just making sure right now that I'm up and above the top corner. And we're going to double check our bottom here. Okay, we're pretty good. Could have cut even a little bit bigger. That's okay. What you can do in this situation is cut out some of your window area right here. We do run the risk of dusting the release liner. That dusting means that when we cut through the release liner, we could get paper particles. That's going to suck. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it because it's going to be easier. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the release liner once we get a bunch of this out. Seems like a clean cut. We should be good. Take your scrap piece of vinyl, even though we have tons of scraps already, and we just slide that into the vehicle. Keep it for later, whatever we might need. Okay, so as we look at this right now, check out the slack, okay? We have way too much. This means that if we were to lay this area flat and get it all smoothed out, get all the air out, when we stretch the vinyl down, we're gonna have to stretch the vinyl down, because there's only one way to take this slack, and we won't be able to take it out to the edges anymore across the panel. By taking it out to the edges, I do not mean we keep stretching way past the edge. I mean we tighten up the film throughout the center area to get rid of the slack before we get to the edge. I'll show you. Keep magnets down on the vehicle. What's interesting about this film is what I noticed is that it's shrunk about not even a 16th, maybe a 32nd of an inch from the actual release liner. However long it's been, I have no idea. Could have been a year ago, hopefully not 2 years ago. This film, again, is pretty sticky, but it's also very pliable. We want to remove the release liner as smooth as possible, okay? Creating wrinkles right now just means we have to get in there and heat them out. So you can see that I'm keeping it flat right across this area. I'll remove the magnet on this side and swing this around. As we get to the end, I'll lift and place the film down. What I want to do is fix this up a little bit, just at the top. You can see how sticky it is already. A couple of things when we're doing this. We run the risk of discoloration, okay? So if we overstretch this film in one area more than another, we're going to run the risk of having some kind of a transition point where we see the film discolor. So doing this as evenly and blending it through as evenly as possible is very important. If you just stop it dead and then stretch from a line, you're gonna have a transition line, no matter what. It's gonna show probably a lighter red, that would be my guess, because the film is gonna thin out more than the other area over here. Now, can you balance it back out by stretching the other area out and bringing it back to that line and stretching that area out over there? Maybe. The best thing to do is this. So I've got a bunch of extra film down here on this corner. Don't really need it. I'm going to cut a bit off. It's a bit awkward. Let's lift the film. This film also has the characteristic of tearing very easily. So we do have to be careful with it. If you have an extra set of hands when you're doing this, it's very beneficial, but can you do it alone? Yes. So I'm going to get this film up. I haven't even stuck it down, right? This is just natural tack. It's a big piece. Okay, I'm going to pull it back just past halfway, and we're going to watch along the body line right there, okay? So I'm not really going to focus on the top section here. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to pull the film as much as I can. Okay. Rule number 1, don't pull the film too hard. That has rarely ever happened to me when I'm actually wrapping a panel. So I'm going to leave this in there, and you guys can see what can happen. Just so you can see what can happen. Let's get a new piece. It's just too much tension in the area. Doesn't have anything to do with how hard I grabbed it. I mean, I could pull on a lot of films in this heat, they don't break. And we're back, piece number 2. Okay, I'll leave that in there for you, like I said, so you can see how vulnerable the film can be. Temperature in here right now is about 77, all right? So it's about 25 degrees Celsius, 77 Fahrenheit. It's pretty warm, it's not cool. Ask anyone else sitting in the audience right now. There's like 3 people watching me. So we're going to cut out this section all over again. Try not to shift the film too much. I want to make sure I get an even cut. Get rid of our piece. This time, I'm going to add heat because I don't want the film to crack or snap. I felt like I had it too, you know? It's like I had it for sure. Nope. Proved me wrong. So again, keeping the release liner flat and the film flat, minimizing how many wrinkles we're getting when we're doing this. We can do this a little bit faster at my pace now since I've already shown you once. Magnet. I can even stick that down over there a little bit. All right, I'm going to cut off this corner again as I did before. Let's see where I need to cut it off, somewhere around here. So the film can actually crack when you're just lifting it. So be careful of that. Because it's so sticky, that was my concern when I was lifting it in the beginning there. It wasn't my concern when I was actually pulling it. Funny, huh? This is where I feel like it would rip or crack. So I'm going to bring this back. And maybe not go quite all the way as I did before. Now I'm going to add heat, because I don't want that to happen again. When I add heat, we want to do this over a large area. Top to bottom, always top to bottom. Keep your heat gun moving and get this film soft like bubble gum. All right. feel like I'm ready here. Let's fix up the top. I'm always expanding the film outwards also when I'm pulling. This is better. You see that the film is tapering into this area right here automatically. If I lift this up and I pull some of these wrinkles out that are on the top edge right here, it should be good. But we do have to do the other side still. Thought it ripped again, it did not. Lucky. Cool, I'm going to lock that in a little bit. Good. Feeling better about that. Let's go back to the other side now. And the goal here is to squeegee some of this down and lock some of that in, because I don't want to pull it back too far. Squeegee the rest out afterwards. I'm going to cut off this corner again, get my hand positioning a little closer. And unstick it. So sticky, guys. It's not a fun one. But what's nice about this is actually it leaves like almost no glue lines. And it's pretty impressive for how sticky it is that I don't see any glue lines when I use this stuff. All right, so somewhere around there, I'm gonna again put that down there, and we're gonna focus through this area here. Just wanna unfold the one wrinkle that I've got right in the middle here. Perfect. As I reached down to pick up the heat gun, I did not put the vinyl down. So we have to blend this transition point in the middle here. We cannot just heat at the line. We're gonna get a transition point. We're gonna get a transition line if we do that, which means we're gonna get a color discrepancy. So what we do here, we pull it outwards and we pull it towards us. It's a little more awkward for me on this side than the other side. We'll get it. Okay, lots of wrinkles, no big deal. We're good. See how everything is pulling in to that area there. It's exactly what you need. So, we take the film, we make it flat, we heat it, and a little bit of tension, not much. You can see my hand is not really moving, but I do let the film come into its home, new home over here, which is this spot. And we're gonna have minimal wrinkles when we get to the edge. I'm trying to lay in the best that I can while keeping the film stable at the same time. Let's see right here. Tightens up, it's nice. That's exactly what we want. It's a little bit of slack, but not a whole lot. I can still lead some of this out to the edge. As we get down here, there's not much of a gap to bridge anymore. It's just mainly this area right here that is better to lay into. I do have to fix up this spot right here, which is what I just noticed. So I'm going to actually lift slightly. There we go, and I can pull across a little bit more. Probably don't need a lot of heat. Let's not hold my breath here. find this body line right here. That's what I need. Cool. Again, pull down slightly, flatten it out, get those wrinkles out, add a bit of heat. Right around here. So there's a tail light here. I'm trying to figure out where the trunk line is. Okay, there it is. Pull it across slightly to eliminate some of that slack that's in that area there. Cool. Looking good. Gotta lift it off of the light so I can finish up the rest. The light is in the way. Let's heat and shrink that. And then I'm gonna counteract these wrinkles just by pulling a little bit down so I can get them out of the way. I should have actually masked off the light, would have helped. Now I know. So no wrinkles are pulling back right now, which is a good sign. I don't see any film trying to pull its way off the edge. Just gonna start squeegeeing out some of this air. Use my other squeegee. When we get big bubbles or large ones, just take our time usually, push down on them. Not a single glue line, it's pretty rad how it does this without any glue lines. I don't care what other brand I would have used to do this, it would have had glue line. Alright, so I've got an air bubble here, but it's easy to get at, so I can just pop it up from the back a little bit, instead of trying to push it out. I haven't even laid it onto the window and it's so stuck to the window, it's crazy. There we go, that air is going to have release now. Cut across, out, done. This side's done. Come back over here and we can finish up all of this with very minimal stretching or pulling. Just a little bit of tension on the film and we're good. Cool, now we're gonna work out this side right here, which is a difficult area because of the light being in our way. Flatten this out, like that. I'm gonna come in there with my palm and just press. It's easier. Fix this up right here. I'm not have to do anything actually. Just glass it out. Perfect. I'm going to cut out a whole bunch of this. There we go. It's an annoyance, so I'm getting rid of it. What I want to do is Don't ever do that, actually, just tear the film like that. I just did it. Learn from my mistakes. But what I want to do is balance it out a little bit here. So I pulled it back slightly so I can have a better shape to actually contour into this area. When I open the hatch, I'll be able to roll the film around if I want to. Or cut it off nearly at the edge is what I usually do. So the wrinkles are pulling across right now. They're not going up. Very important, okay? We're good. Just gonna lift it and finish it off right to the edge. Done. Huge air bubble right here. Let's get the film lifted a little bit and I'll just alleviate, I'll make an opening from this end here just so I can squeegee it out faster. You're gonna see it pop up, watch, right there. I can see all the air. So we start, nice even passes back and forth, overlapping. Oh, missed a spot over there, there we go. That's done. We've got one more air bubble here. It's going to be a bit more of a difficult one to get out. Maybe not. It's coming out nice. Again, the air release on this works very well for how sticky it is. I'm pretty impressed by it. And then we're going to finish up this side right here. You always keeping a bit of tension on the film, keeps it nice and smooth the whole time. Good. Trunk's wrapped, okay? That's the hard part. Easy part now, we're gonna trim this up and make it look pretty, because right now it doesn't look so pretty. So I'm gonna go over all the edges and I'm gonna figure out a way of how I'm gonna be able to release the film from the light here, because it's stuck, so I can open up the actual hatch. Let's lift it, let's cut some back so we don't have so much area. Gotta be careful of the light. So I'm not running my blade pointed towards the light, it's running across the face of it, if anything. Right here, I'm just going to free this up by cutting on the opposite side. I'll be cutting on the quarter panel side. And then I'm going to cut across the top. Get this piece out. Let's get this piece out by the window. Looking a little bit better. I'm going to take this piece, fold it back. Just to the edge of the actual trunk itself. Cool. So again, we'll make sure that I'm not really stuck to anything. It's probably going to be almost impossible. We'll try. The last thing I want right now is for me opening the trunk to actually rip the vinyl that I just worked so hard at getting around this trunk. All right, let's see. Okay, so the lights are actually attached. I didn't even realize that until I opened the trunk. Totally cool. That works for me. So then I can just leave the lights as they are. We'll seal up the gap right here. We'll pre-tuck a little bit. Over here, though, I can actually tuck in around a little more if I want to. I'm going to let this come up. I'm going to bring the camera around. These two corners right here, very simple to do, okay? We're just going to pull the film outwards, cold stretch, get it around the corner. Same thing over here, pull it outwards. I pull it in 3 different ways, get it around the corner. It's done. We take a little bit of heat to it, and it's going to shrink the film right around it. Perfect. I can even look around the backside if I want to, making sure that I've got the coverage that I need. Now what do? We trim it. We trim it on the backside. Poke a hole through. I run my blade across, and I run my blade around the round corner, leaving very minimal film. Same deal around here. I'm going to give this thing a hug. It's a little bit awkward, a little angle that it's at. See if I can find a better position where I can stay out of the camera. Here we go. Cool. We're going to add a little more heat to that and finish them up. Excellent. Let's get on to the next one up here. Our next one's right here. This one's pretty easy too. The metal's thin, so this doesn't make for a difficult corner to do. It's basically done. I'll pull it out a little bit more actually. I had one wrinkle there I didn't like, and it's done. We're going to finish up the edge, and then we can move on. I'm going to hold the trunk exactly where it is so I can actually cut it where I want it in this spot. Once I get to here, I'm going to stop. I want to pre-tuck a lot of this film. Let's bring you in for another perspective of these actual corners right here. On the other side, cut off some excess again. Take the film, bring it back slightly, expand it outwards and around the corner. I don't even have to see the corner to know how to do this. Again, I'm not saying to do this blindfolded, but you don't really need to see it. Bring it outwards, stretch it out in all 3 directions, get it hooked around the edge of the corner. Heat it. And you can mold it, if you want to, around, if you didn't get it quite all the way, or as in your desired space. My eyes will go all the way through the back of the trunk here because I'm going to cut that next. Let's cut it out. It's awkward, but we'll do it. Perfect. This side's actually easier for me than the other side. Cool. Heat on it again. I'm just going to finish up this edge right here and move on. So what I'm going to try to do here is get you in a good camera angle so you can see me cut this section. So right now I've moved the camera angle so that we can, I can show you exactly how far around this back edge I am. Okay? I'm just running my fingers along it, slightly underneath, not much, but very consistently all the way through. What I do is I'll end up holding this end down here. I'm trying to keep the trunk elevated, so I'm using my thigh to press up against it, but eventually I'll just be able to use my hand when I move back here. And I keep a little tension with my left hand on the actual piece of film. This creates an even, clean cut. The blade should glide very smoothly all the way around here. I usually position myself behind the blade. I'm doing the cut like this to show you better. So put yourself in a comfortable place. The back of my blade rests on the back edge of the actual panel. That is a clean cut. And I wasn't even really looking at it. I can't see it from my angle. Next thing we do, we go over it with heat. We're going to do several passes so we can ensure that we've locked it down really well. And my heat gun is on the highest setting. It's only an inch or two away from the actual surface, but we keep it moving. We don't leave our heat gun in the same spot. That'd be bad. That would be a bad thing. This entire section in the back here is done. I'll show you the front. As you can see, I've already cut out the other taillight side, similar to this side. It's exactly the same actually, no different, just the opposite side. What I'm going to do here is flatten the rest of this out and then cut it off at the bottom. What I'm showing you right now is that the film isn't really wrinkling up a lot, okay? I've got a couple here, but nothing crazy. Nothing that's super confined, showing me tons of little wrinkles running up to that edge. If I have a lot of wrinkles running up to that edge, big problem, okay? We don't want that. All I have to do with these is sort of spread the film out, expand it outwards left and right, okay? We're basically pulling it along the edge. Lock it in. Same deal here. Expand it outwards, slightly down, lock it in. Consistently, all the way through. Before I cut anything, we always heat. So we're going to check it. This one I can see already shrunk down, so this had a really good stretch on it. I don't have to do anything with that. Same with here and same with here. Let's heat it. Let's make sure nothing is pulling back, okay? If anything is pulling back at this point, we're kind of in trouble. We can fix it, but we have to definitely do some solid post heating on the edges and just pray that nothing's ever gonna pull back. So we're good. I've got minimal wrinkles, nothing actually pulling back off top of the edge. This is a little bit better over here. As you can see, it's much smoother. A little bit more wrinklage over here. Not a big deal. It just means I didn't pull it across enough or as much on this side as I did the other side. We'll always try to be consistent, but it's not always that possible. I'm just gonna tuck it in a little further. As long as I don't stretch any more right now, we'll be good. So we can press on these wrinkles and we can get them out without actually stretching the film. So I didn't put knifeless tape here. This means that I'm going to pull my film back slightly to a nice clean line, and I'm going to cut by running my back of the blade along the edge, as I've shown you many times. This creates a straight cut. Done. No blade on the car. Go over it one more time with heat. Fix up this corner down here and the one on the other side. That's that. I have one little bubble over here. Some of you may have seen it. Let's just pop it out. Done. Done. Get yourself an air release tool. You're going to need it. And that's how you wrap a Tesla Model 3 rear hatch, trunk, whatever you want to call it a hatch. A little bit more difficult in its technical way because of the curvature that it has. It's a super compound curve, gets a little crazy. A lot of people just seam it right here. I get it, it's definitely not easy to do, especially when you're doing it on your own. If you have an extra set of hands, or even like 2 extra set of hands, will help tremendously. One person can heat, 2 people can pull it and get the whole thing done in a lot quicker of a time. But then you need people that are kind of on your level and know what to do. Seaming it isn't necessarily wrong. If you're not able to get it done in one piece, then you use a seam. It's just kind of, that would be your skill level at that point. If you can do it in one piece, and you're doing it in 2 pieces, then that means that you're actually not doing the best that you could be when you know that you could be doing better. So don't be lazy. If you can do it in one piece, do it. Again, I just showed you how to do it. No markings, no damage on the film. Looks fantastic. It's going to hold up really well, and I'm certain that it's going to last forever as long as they leave the wrap on the car. I hope this video was informative and helpful, guys. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. Take care.